everybody. Welcome to episode 48 of the Unwrapped Leader, where we get raw, real, and relevant in the new network marketing. And I am Dracy Dewar, all the way from Australia.
And I am Teisha from Canada.
Fantastic. And today our topic is how to lose a customer. Yep, that's it. How to lose a customer. And what we want to talk about is you don't want to lose a customer, but most importantly, we just thought we'd jump on board because I've recently kind of had an experience happen, and it just really got me to reflect on customer service and how vigilant I am about it, no matter what I do, where I go, how I teach, or how I train. And I recently made a pretty big, substantial purchase. And I think it's probably because I had so much thought around it, in the sense that all my friends have one of these. Okay. And I'm not getting any plug about it or anything, but it's a pretty heavy duty KitchenAid machine that does it all. And all my girlfriends have talked about it probably for the last decade. I was like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool to get one, but it's always been so overwhelming. And I thought, no, I like the simple way that I cook, and I think I do a pretty good job, and I just love it. But I finally went to one of these presentations, and it was to help a dear friend. Her daughter is going for Miss Universe, and she did it as a fundraiser. And again, see how people are motivated. They're motivated by helping other people. And so I went to it, and I did get to see this demonstration, and it was like, okay, she caught me on everything. Not only was she good, she was engaging, and she covered everything that I thought was important to me. And one was time. It saves time. Number two, the fact is that I'm into holistic, and I like natural ingredients. And she talked about how you could create your own natural ingredients. And I just loved it that it did it all. It was the blender and the NutriBullet, the slicer, the dicer, and the mixer, and all that. So let's just put it this way. It was like over $2,300. And so she justified every single thing that I had an objection for. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now I decided, okay. And so much so that I'm not interested in having any parties or anything, but she made it so appealing, because I want to learn how to do it. And that's why you would have a presentation, is because she gives you more tips and holds your hands to have a presentation. And I'm such a server and giver that I wanted to say, oh, my daughter's going to see this. This is so cool. They're going to love it. They can make their smoothies, and they can make their baby formulas and their sauces and their dips. Again, all natural. Long story short, I did buy it. And when I got it, I was so nervous, and I was kind of excited, but I was definitely really nervous about the whole experience. And I just kind of realized, not once did I get reached out to, not once did I say, thanks for the order, and, or how I'm going with this machine. Because I honestly was almost going to let that machine sit till she actually got me to reach in to help me, or put me into a group or something. And so I just kind of thought, I don't know, maybe it's just a bad time of the year or month or day or week for her. And I'm probably calling her out too soon. We'll give her some more time on that. But I'm only saying it because I just realized the importance of me as a customer, or us as our customers, and the value, and not just in that one-time purchase, but the value that they bring to us for the long term. And I just thought it'd be good to talk about it, because it's not just about what we sell, it's how we serve. And that when we talk about customer service, remember that big word, serve. And so when we're out there, we can buy on Amazon now, we can make shopping so easy, but what value do we as network marketers bring to the table? So why don't we talk about that, Teisha? What do you think?
Yeah, that's crazy. I think especially for a purchase that's that large, you want to make sure that your customers are satisfied. And so if you want to lose a customer, have poor service. Like, that's it. For me, I want to actually give a quick example that took place on my wedding day. And it's actually sort of the opposite. So I had a crappy experience with my wedding cake, and it arrived the day of, or was it the day before? I can't remember, but it was like, I want to say it was like the day before of my wedding that they delivered it, and we were going to put it in the fridge. And I don't know what the heck happened, but from what I was kind of expecting, it was nothing like I was expecting. In fact, she had writing on it that said, "We do." That's what I kind of wanted on there, but it had all melted down. It looked like a horror movie font. It was scary. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not having a wedding cake. And I didn't stress over it, because I'm like, this is supposed to be a stress-free day, blah, blah, blah. So I actually put my bridesmaids to go fix it. I'm like, can you guys figure this out? Like this, I'm not displaying this. Like I was actually like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with this? And anyway, so long story short, like we reached out to her and basically took pictures and be like, is this what it's like supposed to look like? Like we didn't expect this. And she was actually amazing that I would go back to her, even though that happened, because she made it right and she went above and beyond. So she lives like probably 30 minutes from where my wedding venue was. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Please come drop off the cake. I'm going to redo the whole thing for you. I'm going to deliver it on your wedding day. I'm going to put it exactly where you need, and it's going to be perfect, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And I mean, I'm skeptical at this point, right? Because that was like what I got at the beginning. But she over delivered. It looked amazing. It tasted amazing. And she just did such an incredible job, like making up for something that it just goes to show too, if you're unhappy with something as a customer, let the person make it right. Right? Yeah. Like give them that opportunity to make it right. I guess in your case, Dracy, like they don't know that there's something wrong, right? So it's kind of like, what do you do now as the customer? Do you just wait? Do you just go ahead? Are you going to reach out to her?
But and I probably will and give her the benefit of the doubt. But hence why I thought it was a good conversation for sure. And look at like how this lady for you just went well beyond the call and duty. And you're going to share and save and share that with people now.
That's the best goddamn cake I've ever ate. Like, honestly, I will hire her again to do it. And I trust her. I do trust her because she went above and beyond. And so that's kind of, I guess, on the opposite end, an experience where it started off kind of like, okay, like you lost me as a customer, but I gave her that chance to make up for it. I think it is important as customers too, that we do give people the benefit of the doubt to see like, what's up? Is it just actually bad, or can we do better? And there's just something that like we could solve the problem. So that was one of my experiences. But I think like bottom line, if you want to lose a customer, have poor service. And so let's actually talk about what you can do, right? I think as network marketers, we provide something so unique that regular retail stores can't. And we have that ability to be the best in customer service in everything that like people sell through stores, that we sell through network marketing. Like we have that opportunity to be the best customer service in the world. And so how can we do that? How can we kind of stand out amongst the other stores and other ways that people are providing that customer experience? So I wanted to leave you guys with a few tips and some follow-up systems and just ways that you guys can add some personal touch as well when it comes to maintaining a customer. And so number one, listen to your customers' needs and provide them with personalized solutions. That's exactly what this lady did at the beginning from the start for Dracy, right? She knew that Dracy struggled with X, Y, and Z. She overcome all of her objections. And, she heard people's needs that are in need of this product or in need of this service. And she spoke to that. So I think being a really good listener rather than just speaking, on top of people, just trying to get the information out, really listen to what they need. Even today in my company, sometimes people reach out because they see me using my products and they're like, I really want that. And I could go ahead and add it to their cart and say, here, go check out. Or I could say, awesome, what are you looking to benefit from this? Because sometimes people have a misunderstanding of what something is really for. And the more information you can gather, the better recommendation you can make, right? So sometimes I actually get people who tell me what they want help with. And I'm like, okay, this product I actually wouldn't recommend to you. I would recommend this, right? And you want to make the best recommendation as someone in this industry so that you have a returning customer. Like, what good is it if someone's a customer once, or if they're a customer and they end up returning it because it doesn't help them, or it's not actually what they were looking for. So take that extra ounce of patience, be a listener, find out what their needs are. So that's like step one. That's like the pre-interview of like what you really need to ask in order to recommend a good product. And that's step one of keeping a satisfied customer. Another one is always giving value. So I make sure when people get their order or they get a product, a service, whatever, like I like to follow up with even more value. It's like I'm over delivering, right? Like ensure that they're actually satisfied. And so even if they haven't used it yet or whatnot, if it was a product, just making sure that they're actually satisfied with what they got, asking them if they have any questions about it. And sometimes too, like, let's just say as an example, your product is something to do with like food or a beverage or something like that. You could offer, for example, like, hey, I'm so excited for you to give this, product a try. I actually have a recipe that I think you'll love. Send that their way. Or say it was something like makeup, for example, if you're in the makeup industry, like, hey, I saw that you got this color palette. I think this look would look so good on you with your green eyes or whatever, right? Like something personalized that you could just give them on top. And it just gives them more, I think, confidence in using your product when you could over deliver, make sure they're satisfied, and then keep dumping value on them. The value doesn't have to be like, here's a freebie, right? Like you don't have to take money out of your pockets and empty your pockets to make them satisfied. It's just little things like that you can give them free value. Another one I have is, of course, service before the sale. So this kind of, I guess, goes back to the start too. And I think it's just another word for what I said beforehand, when it's like finding out what they actually need and want, and always coming from a service standpoint. Even when you're checking in with them afterwards, once they have tried the product, it's like, don't just go to the, like, hey, do you need to reorder? Hey, are you almost empty? Like, check in and see how they're enjoying it. Like, if they're not enjoying it, one, you might have to answer questions. They might not have enough information. And once you've done that, then go ahead and, see if that's something they want to consider again, but always come from a point of service first and foremost. And then a couple more things is positive language. So let's say that there was something that didn't go right. So I've had this before where someone's like, you know what, I'm not loving it. Like, because of whatever, right? They give you their reasons. I always first ask questions like, how are you using it? And whatever. And then after I go ahead and do that, I will make sure to, offer a solution, right? So one, are they using it right? If they are using it right and everything's going good, it's like, okay, well, why don't you try it like this? So again, if it's like food or beverage, why don't you try it in a smoothie? Why don't you try it? Like, it depends, of course, what it is. Like if it's a supplement, obviously there's many ways to have supplements and add them in and still get the health benefits from it. But I think just offering different solutions rather than just saying like, oh, you're right, that sucks. Like, well, like you want to empathize with them. I think it's super important to like make them feel heard. Like, hey, I totally understand. Like, I would be unhappy too. But then let them know, what people have found or how I would solve this is, and try and give them another way to try it out and just stay positive. I'm not saying like, something terrible happens and you're just trying to, make them feel like their opinions aren't valued. You need to make them feel valued and empathize with them, but then offer a solution, something positive. Okay. And then the last thing is exceeding their expectations. And you just do this by dumping more and more value, always being, being good at like your service. And when they do try something else, like make sure you let them know, like when you try this, please let me know, give me your honest feedback, like make them feel heard, make them feel safe too. Like put them in a space where they feel like they can let you know the truth, right? Cause like how many people order stuff, or have you ever done this? So this is something I used to do as a kid. Go get a haircut. You hate it. You tell them you like it. And then you go to your car and you cry. Like, that's not helpful, right? It's not helpful for me, and it's also not helpful for them. Dracy, you're muted. What are you saying?
I said, sounds like you did that a time or two yourself.
Oh, yeah. I used to ask for bangs all the time, and I'd be like, I want side bangs. But, like, they just didn't listen, and they gave me forehead bangs. And then they're like, do you like it? And I had someone once that were like, I hope you don't mind. I made them choppy. I'm thinking, like, I didn't ask you to make them choppy. Like, I hate this. And then I'm like, oh, it's okay, because I'm just too nice and I don't want to be rude. So yeah, and then I go home. I've
been there. And I'm sure our Australian and down under viewers get what bangs are because of movies and TV theories, but we actually call them fringe.
A fringe. That's what I was thinking, actually. I was like, I bet you they call it a fringe.
I think that people do know, but when I first moved here, obviously I called them bangs. And now that I've been here and it's fringe, it's like, it's just weird to even hear the word bang. Like you actually think of that.
Oh, yeah. Bang. I think fringe also means something else here. I don't know if you guys use the word fringe for anything else in like the fringe, like the small portion of people.
Yeah, no, or the outer banks, like
yeah.
Others. So, yeah,
I guess so. I guess so. But yeah, so it's not helpful. Like actually, like I said, give them an opportunity to make it right. So, okay, I want to quickly talk to you about a couple follow-up systems. So if you have a brand new customer or you have a current customer, these are just ways to maintain that relationship and connection with them. So number one is a new customer. A system that's really effective if you're just getting started with customer service is called 222. So essentially, after they get their order, you check in with them in 2 days. And that 2-day follow-up is essentially, hey, did everything arrive in good condition? Did you have any questions? So it's not asking how they tried it. We're not assuming it, they're trying it in 2 days. Sometimes people wait a bit. We get it. Sometimes they have tried it. And in that case, check in and see how it's going. But I always say, I just want to make sure everything arrived in great condition. Do you have any questions about anything? And if everything is all good and well, I let them know, awesome, I can't wait for you to try it. Please reach out when you do. However, if I don't hear from you in a couple weeks, I'm going to come back and check in. So you're letting them know when you're going to check in next so that it's not a surprise to them. And it's also not weird. You're not feeling like, oh, I wonder if they tried it yet. I wonder. So they're actually going to put an effort into trying it within the next couple of weeks. And then 2 weeks later, you check in again. Hey, I'm just checking in again, making sure that you had a chance to give it a try. What did you think? Do you have any questions? And just answering those questions again. If they haven't tried it yet, I would just keep doing like week by week until they have. And if they're kind of like saying like, hey, I'll let you know. You want to maintain control of that conversation. So I always tell them, sounds good. I'll check in again in a week or so. Like I just make sure I keep giving them a date that I'm going to check in, because then again, it's no surprise to you or them. And then the last one is the 2-month check-in. So let's say after the 2 weeks, everything's going good. In 2 months, it depends on your product, of course, or service, how often would they need one, or how often until something would, run out. That's just kind of like the check-in. Are you still enjoying everything? Are you needing a refill? Are you wanting to try something different this time? So the 2-month check-in. And then after that, once they've kind of went through that process, and let's say if they did reorder, I would repeat the 222. If they haven't reordered after those 2 months, I would just do a quarterly check-in. This doesn't necessarily have to be about product. It could just be a simple like, hey, just checking in. How's everything going in life? Like just personal is good because you're maintaining the relationship. Your name's at the top of their mind. And it's just a great way to keep that customer relationship with them. So those are just a few tips on my follow-ups. And then the last thing I'm going to share, and then I'm going to put it on you, Dracy, is just personal touch. So a few things. A lot of people have Facebook customer groups. What kind of value are you offering in there, right? What can you do that's going to set yourself apart from the millions of other people who are in this industry as well? If you have the time, you could do a monthly newsletter, right? Give some extra little, whatever it is, recipes or fun little ways to try your product. You could even do a highlight of a testimonial, showing that social proof in there. So if you have the time for like a little monthly customer newsletter, you could do that. And then lastly, personal messages. So do that in your follow-ups, but of course, just checking in with them on a regular basis. Like, even though, follow the 222, I think it's so important to still network with people. Like, do they have stories up? Do they have a new post, even if it's just family related? Just keeping in touch and staying at the top of their newsfeed. So those are all my tips when it comes to maintaining a customer and just keeping that relationship.
And how amazing, Teisha, because so much so that I like being your customer, right? Like, honestly, and I think that's what you have. You have customers for life. Now that you're in your second different business, that, you've been now you're with a second business, and your customers are following you, and that's because of the customer service you give them. Look at this. I even have you ship me products to Australia because I can't get them down under. And we're talking about, like stuff that I can't live without products. And I think that's really important. So you did great customer service. So I wanted some key words. This is the follow-up, the funnel, the fun, and the friendships you create in your customer service. And that is how you become of service. And that's what I love about that. And I talk about our customers for a lifetime, because this is why personal branding is so big. They're following you because they like, know, and trust you, and how you've actually got them as a customer. So how have you actually engaged and got them as a customer? And that's, again, going to be your Midas touch, your unique you, how you educated, how you inspired them, or how you overcame their objections and solved their problems. And so hence why, like I said, I bought this Thermomix, because she covered all of that. But it's almost 10 days now, so I haven't had my 2 calls. So maybe, like I said, but it did sit there because I was scared and I was nervous. And this isn't the first thing I bought that I've had those feelings. I've bought in complete makeup systems. There's like 6 different steps to it. And I felt paralyzed because I saw how they've made the steps. But again, it's like people want a helping hand, a hold your hand kind of thing. And that's why I think it's really good having the step-by-step. Hey, here's the quick steps, or here's your very first recipes that we find are super easy to try. Things like that, I think is really quite powerful. And again, we talk about that Midas touch, why people want to stick with you in that sense. And hence why, as Teisha said, how are you going to funnel them? And so like we were just talking about, start following them, get the like and be personally interested in them. That's really, really awesome. Again, funneling them into a personal Facebook group that you have, where you provide that great value, and as well as that follow-up. And so when you're in that story in their feed and they see you showing up, again, they're going to come to you for their family and friends because they love you or the product so much. They're going to talk, like they see their friends need something or want to help them. They're going to recommend you. That's the end of the day of what we're getting at. And that's why I talk about a customer, a lifetime value, because especially if you have a company that has an auto ship, a flex ship, or, a subscription, a membership, or anything like that, if you don't see them or they don't see you or reaching out to them, they're going to start to lose the value of it, and they probably will cancel it after a certain amount of time. Hence why I'm such a big advocate of new. What new products, new programs, something new that you're doing. And those are really always great reasons and ways to reach out to them. And I always say, when you reach out to somebody, I always say there's like 3 steps. And the steps are, why are you calling? What's new and exciting? And then a call to action, like creating that sense of urgency. And one of the ladies in the skincare, and why I ordered this specific skincare line, is because she was so good at customer service. Whenever something was new, she flicked me, here's new, and there was always something. I do my calls in 1 week. It's a Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Like, it's almost like I could expect that call. And so I ordered from her because she was so diligent and so good at it. And so I'm just saying, just really give some thought yourself personally, you as a network marketer. What are the things that you are really good at? And what is it that you do struggle at? If I know naturally I was really good at getting the sale, but maybe naturally I wasn't so good in my follow-up. So that's why it was so important to be aware of what I needed to improve on, really implement a system, and do a checkup from the neck up on a weekly basis. Even with my upline or my coach, this is the things I struggle with. This is what I want to be really good at, and help me be great at being customer service, because they're going to follow you no matter where you go. And so I guess in the bottom line, I'm trying to say is, like what Mary Kay in her book, You Can Have It All. She walks around as if everyone has a sticky note on their forehead that says, make me feel special. And the bottom line is, your customers just want to feel special, and you have the power to make them feel special. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I just had lots of fun doing it. And Teisha, you are true to form on customer service. And, just now that you're shining in that space of health and wellness, and the fact that you are so passionate, and people see that, like we see that. And so, people want to be a part of your community because of how you show up for them. You got customer service. I'm going to give you a 10-star Midas touch with Teisha and her customer service.
Thank you, Dracy. It's honestly like the best compliment that I could receive. And you're right. Like, when I shifted over into a new company, I had so many of my customers follow me, and I didn't even reach out to them. And I've had people say, like, you have such good customer service, like you could sell me dirt. I was like, oh, well, thank you. That means so much to me. And everyone has the power to have that customer service, right? Like, people, your product may be amazing, but people are buying from you because of you. If you don't give good customer service, they will buy the same product from somebody else. They will go find someone who makes them feel special and who values them. So,
Teisha, can I add for that? Because this is what I think I like, honestly, this is a heart-centered business.
It is, yeah.
We do it because we're passionate. We do it because we genuinely want to help. That's why we call it a paycheck of the heart. And being of service, like we do this because we love it and we love to help. And I think that is what's so powerful. And I just wanted to say, that's why your customers not only just stick with you, they may even have something in a time in their life where they need more. And that's why they join your business, your customers. Your customers end up being your best distributors because they've already know what good customer service is. So they become the best at customer service because you've already role modeled them in that. And then they become your friends because of the relationship that you give them. It is sincere and genuine. And when I'm out there recruiting, because we are technically talent scouts and tour guides, when we're out there looking for talent, I'll tell you that the number one qualities I look for is sincere and genuine. Because if you can find someone who's sincere and genuine and they are heart-centered, they are going to be amazing at this business because their number one is to be good at customer service. So if you know anyone out there that is sincerely genuine and you have not offered them this business opportunity yet, go out there and offer them this business opportunity and tell them why. Because they're sincere and genuine and you think they'd make great customer service in this new network marketing business.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for wrapping that up for us, Dracy. For those of you watching, thank you so much for coming on here. Please leave a like. Let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaways were. If you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. And of course, if you're listening on any of the podcasting platforms, we would so appreciate a 5-star review if you learned anything today. And please share with your teams. If you're looking to grow those customer sales and help your team succeed and grow their customer base, this is going to be a great episode for them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.